Let the record reflect Commissioners Soboroff, Madison, Figueroa Villa, Kim, and Saltzman are present, and we have a quorum. Beginning with item number 1 on the agenda, we have commission comments. Are there any comments?
Mr. President, I do have 2 comments. I appreciate it. First, as did all of my colleagues, it was my great pleasure and honor to attend the Above and Beyond Medal of Valor Purple Heart Awards luncheon last week. Chief was there, as were many others from the department. And I just want to offer my personal thanks to the Police Foundation for the event, and of course my appreciation, along with everyone else's, for the individuals honored. I was just grateful to be able to be there and to be part of it, and I'm thankful for that. Second, I want to thank President Soboroff for the attention he has brought to the issue of video and audio cameras for our officers. I fully support, and my guess is all of my colleagues do, fully support the efforts to expand the use of video cameras. It has good results, as we know. I do note, and I think I'm not alone in this as well, that the expanded use of video cameras does require some careful consideration of the policies, the procedures regarding their use, and the retention and storage of the videos captured. I understand from the department that the department has a plan for field testing of the first 25 cameras, and that the field testing will include how best to use the videos, how to capture the video, how the video will be retained and stored for future use, and the other issues that are related to their operation. I also understand from the department that after, or based on the field testing, the department would be bringing to us proposed policies for our approval regarding the use of those videos. And I think that will require our careful consideration given the privacy issues and the other policy and operational questions the expanded use will raise. So I raise that simply to make that comment and ask that in the meantime, if the department could give us regular reports regarding the progress on the testing and the development of those policies so we get a sense of what's happening and when we're likely to see the policies. Thank you, Mr. President.
Very good. Paula? Her sparks lost at the last second yesterday, so she's speechless for just for a few seconds, but then she'll be back in action.
Wow, I was trying to get away from that.
Okay. Rob, it's a great point, and it cannot be stated too much.
Right.
It not only in the reviewing of policy, but seats at the table in creating the policy.
Right.
During the week, I've been on the phone with the Protective League, with the ACLU, with a number of people, because the success of this program is important for our police officers and for every citizen. It's important for every police officer, I think, in other large cities that are looking at this experiment, and we need to do it right. So as we go to the table, there'll be a lot of people at that table. I hope you'll be there with me, and create the policy that works for the officers and for the public. And when that happens, I think we're in for some really great results.
Great, I appreciate it, and I again thank you for you've clearly given a significant boost to this process, and I support it fully.
Thanks. I got a call from Mayor Reardon, ex-Mayor Reardon, always, and said that he thought it was a terrific idea, and he pledged $50,000 towards making it happen, which I thought was very nice. Never so much as bought me lunch when I worked for him for 8 years, so this was must be a very important thing for the mayor. That was off the record, right, Chief?
Nothing's off the record.
I'm kidding. Okay. During the last week, I met with a couple of people who were, I think, real heroes in Los Angeles, and certainly big fans of our department. and big helpers to our department. That's Father Greg Boyle over at Homeboy, and yesterday with Father John Backus from the Greek Orthodox Church at Pico in Normandy. Both help take gang members off the streets and make them productive, and both complement and are very, very complimentary of the community policing and the constitutional policing that's going on in this department. It's nice to have their support. Let's move on.
Okay. Moving on to item number 2, report of the Chief of Police. Chief Beck.
Good morning, Commissioners. First I want to recognize the loss for the Laguna Beach community and its police department. Motor Officer John Cucci was killed over the weekend in a traffic collision while on duty, and I know that this is a very, very difficult time for them, particularly for a small organization like that where everybody is so connected to each other. So our hearts go out to them, and the Los Angeles Police Department will do whatever we can to help them through this time. I want to thank the commissioners for their attendance, not only at the Medal of Valor and Purple Heart Awards, but also at this weekend's fundraiser for the Police Museum. I want to remind the public that we have a great police museum on York Avenue in Northeast that is truly world class and has not only the history of the Los Angeles Police Department, but also the history of the city of Los Angeles, because the two are so intertwined. Events over this weekend. Just last night, we had 2 drive-by shootings in the Watts community, both on 114th Street, both committed by the same suspects, both resulting in homicides. Due to the strong community ties that we've established in that neighborhood, no small credit due to Captain Tingarides there and the community safety partnership that has been so successful in the housing developments. We received information that has led to arrests and recovery of weapons in both those cases. I want to remind people that even though I often tout the success of the department in reducing gang crime, and that is an absolute fact, we still have much work left to do, and still young men die on the streets of Los Angeles well over 100 times a year over minor disputes and territorial battles. Lastly, before I get into my statistics, I know that it has been in the media that Judge Terry Green refused to stay on his opinion regarding Special Order 7. I know people are very interested in what that means. What I would tell people when they ask that is that we still have yet to see the judge's written decision. I was in phone conversation with the City Attorney Mike Fuhrer last night, and he has a team working on that so that the Los Angeles Police Department and the City of Los Angeles can chart the best path forward, and that's what we'll be doing over the next couple of days. So there won't be a lot of further information about that decision other than what I've just given you. My report on Part 1 crime is still, as we approach the third quarter of the year, or the last quarter of the year, we're at 11.1% reduction in violent crime compared to last year, and a 17.7% reduction in violent crime compared to 2011. While I'm talking about this, there was a Daily News article last week that said the City of Los Angeles saw an increase in Part 1 crime during 2012. That is absolutely categorically not true. We've contacted the Daily News, and they're aware of that, and I'm hoping that they'll print a retraction. All the furor over realignment and AB 109 often creates people that want to manipulate statistics for their own argument, and I'm not accusing the Daily News of that, but I know that people will shade statistics in order to support their views on 109. I want to make sure that doesn't happen with the Los Angeles Police Department. Homicide down 6.9%. That's about 15 less homicides than last year. Rapes down 27.9%. That's well over 100 fewer rapes than last year. Robberies down 11.8%. Aggravated assaults down 6.9%. All the four categories of Part 1 property crime are down. Burglary down 2.8, vehicle theft down 5.3, theft from vehicle down 1.5, and other thefts down 4.5. Total Part 1 crime reduction for the City of Los Angeles as compared to last year is 4.8%. Gang crime is also down in the city. Total gang crime reduction is 16.9% compared to last year, and an astonishing 24.6% compared to 2011. Personnel statistics. Sworn personnel on payroll, 9,945. We have 277 Level 1 reserve officers, including my security aide today, who recently retired and came back, and he works for free now. I've never mentioned that to this commission, but Bob does a great job. 22 Level 2 reserve officers, 135 Level 3 reserve officers, 392 specialist volunteers, 44 chaplains, 2,818 civilian personnel, 529 civilian vacancies, and we have 4,010 cadets in our program. And that concludes my report.
Okay, next is the report of the Executive Director. Mr. Takei?
Do we have any questions of the Chief? Chief, with all the good news, what keeps you up at night?
Well, the homicides,
And me.
the two homicides kept me up last night. Overall crime is, we're going the right way in crime, but every death is a tragedy. Every violent crime has a huge impact on people's lives, and so it isn't. Even though I talk in big numbers when we talk here, because that's important, the tragedies that occur in Los Angeles are very real, and both those young men that were killed. Well, actually, one wasn't so young. Were killed last night. Were killed absolutely needlessly. One was walking down the street, texting on his cellular device, and shot in a drive-by, and the other one was on his porch, talking to a neighbor, and they died absolutely needlessly. And that's a tragedy of Los Angeles.
Good, thank you.
Chief Beck? Thanks for your comments about the update about the Special Order 7 litigation, and I just wanted to offer myself if there's any way to support your efforts with that litigation. I'd be very happy to.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, actually, one of my former students is the ACLU attorney involved in that case, and I think that it was great for the LAPD to come forward with that initiative, and I want to help.
Well, we still feel and I've said this many times, we still feel we're in a strong position. Our Special Order 7, which was approved by the prior commission, was vetted through the Attorney General's office in a lengthy process that took many months and much research. It was also vetted through not only the prior city attorney, but this city attorney, who also believes that it is a legal order. I think we just need to move further up the judicial food chain.
When you talk about the staffing numbers, again, the numbers sound big, but what keeps you up at night about the staffing numbers?
Well, obviously we are having difficulty filling our recruit classes right now, and we're working diligently on that. And I want to thank Commissioner Mattson for her work in that area, and all of you. We are still a very, very small police department, given the scope of our responsibility. New York is even though they have twice the population we do, they have about half the physical area and 4 times the police officers. So they police with a much higher level per capita than we do, as does Chicago, as does every other major city in the United States. So, our numbers are big. We are by far the biggest municipal police department in the Western United States, but we also have by far the largest job. Almost 500 square miles, about 4 million people, plus major venues. We deal with things that other departments never have to deal with. Protests are a way of life in Los Angeles. You know, we hardly even comment on them, and other cities would be shut down by those. You know, just a way to look at things.
If I might, on the issue of recruitment, if in fact we're having difficulty filling the recruitment classes, which sounds like we are, and I know Commissioner Madison is quite focused on that, along with Commissioner Soboroff, and I think I certainly support those efforts. I also just suggest to the President that you think about when it would be appropriate for us to have a public hearing on that topic. Obviously, there's a new mayor, quite a few new city council members, and our having difficulty filling our recruitment classes, I think, is a problem we should not be having. And so I think it may well benefit once Commissioner Madison and others have a little more information about it. It might well benefit from a public discussion here about the things we can do to assist the department in the efforts it's making, which I think are heroic, and there ought not be that problem.
Good morning, and thank you, Commissioner Saltzman. I think that having worked just the past couple of weeks on this issue regarding recruitment into the police department, the fact is that there are 400 jobs for uniformed officers that are still open, and we are certainly in a city and an environment where there would be people who would be happy to step forward and serve the public via the Los Angeles Police Department. One of the things that we're absolutely focused on is the intake process. We are looking at what would be called filling the pipeline of finding candidates who would be interested in joining the police department, and then we have to look very carefully at how and why they are not making it all the way through in order to be offered the honorable position of serving as a police officer. So we're focused there. We're working closely with the city personnel department, and we are certainly gathering some metrics. We'll be putting together some facts around the process, taking a look at some of the elements of the process, taking a look certainly at diversity, not only in the intake, but of course in promotions. But we have to start at a point where we can understand the system by which people enter the police department, and then figure out what are those hurdles that reasonably should not be significant hurdles. Hopefully we will soon get to a point where we can have a full class at the academy and begin filling those 400 jobs. President Soboroff has some very innovative thoughts, which I guess we'll talk about much later, but some innovative thoughts about how to help with recruitment. But we are absolutely focused on it, Chief, as you know, and we are, without question, going to work very closely with the city personnel department to make sure that these hurdles are gone immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how innovative this is, but when I was at Playa Vista, we had a certain affordable housing component. I found that the entry-level police officers' income, unfortunately, was not above that level. So they were able to be considered for assisted programs in some of the housing. So we took out an ad in the Thin Blue Line, even though there were 10,000 people on the waiting list, and felt that, you know, who wouldn't want to live next door to an LAPD officer? And a whole bunch went in and were able to purchase or rent at a significant discount. And my feeling is that program should continue. It goes back to, are you doing all you can? Is the business community, is the housing community, is everyone doing all they can to help us with the recruiting? And are they promoting the fact that they have affordable, not assisted, God forbid, affordable housing available, and make it affordable, a priority to police officers and people going through our program. So these are the kinds of things that we want to look at. It all goes back to, are you doing all you can? Every citizen, every business, every philanthropy, every church. Okay, Chief, thank you, sir.
Okay. Number 3, report of the Executive Director, Mr. T. Fink.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the Commission. 2 brief items. One, to fulfill the goals of the President and the Commission as to community meetings. We are working to schedule our first community meeting, hopefully in the latter part of November, in Councilmember Mike Bongen's district. Once we have a solid date on that, we'll begin announcements at Commission meeting. Also, a variety of ways we publicize that through our internet and posting, and also with the Council Member's office. So more to come on that, but we're working to fulfill that first community meeting. And secondly, I have an item on council today on the valet parking ordinance. Hopefully it'll get adopted today by council. I might have to leave during the meeting. If I do, Ms. Vega will sit in for me and staff the meeting for you. And that concludes my report.
Questions? Richard, anyone? Okay, thank you.
Next, number 4, report of the Inspector General, Mr. Rogan.
Mr. President, members of the Commission, good morning. I'm sitting in for Mr. Bustamante, who this week is attending the NACOL annual convention in Utah. He should be back tomorrow or the day after to attend to business. Members of the Commission are presenting at the NACOL conference on both police auditing and investigating use of force incidents. No further report.
Questions of the IG? Okay. Item number 5.
Item number 5 consists of information items that are filed and submitted for the period ending September 20th, 2013. Item number 6 are presentations. Are there any presentations?
No, there aren't today.
Okay, moving along to the
I'm still new because item 5, this for information only, no motion necessary.
no motion necessary.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Moving along to the consent agenda items. These items are considered to be routine and non-controversial, upon which the board is provided with adequate information for approval without inquiry or discussion. Would a commissioner wish to pull any item for discussion?
I'd just like to once again thank those who made donations in kind or from any way, and they're very, very much appreciated. So,
Mr. President, I move approval of items 7A through F.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving along to regular agenda item. Item number 8A is a verbal presentation from an update from the commanding officer and Community Police Advisory Board representatives regarding community-initiated problem-solving, crime strategies, and other programs and goals within the mission area. Would a commissioner wish to pull any item between 8B through 8M?
8B.
8B.
Anybody else want to pull any of them?
I move approval of items 8C through 8M.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 8B is the assignments, the commission liaison assignments, and they're 50. There's nobody's interested in those. But there are 15 of them. They're important, and the way we went about it, I think, was a little bit different. The assignments are based on skill sets and interest sets of each of the commissioners. And we hope that these assignments will be proactive and help make this a better police department for all of the officers and all of the citizens of Los Angeles. So I'm excited to make these appointments and appreciate all of your individual input and give you full support to learn as much as you can and use your good common sense and your experiences to help proceed. Does anybody want to comment on any of these assignments?
It's in our binder.
It's 8B. Yeah, 8B.
Mr. President, just a technical correction on the staff report that I prepared for you. On page 2, it has the Office of Support Services. That should be the Office of Administrative Services. That was my error.
Okay.
Had a brain fade. So we'll correct that for the department when we distribute this to the department.
So we need a motion to approve 8B.
Move approval of item 8B.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And we go to
Okay, we are now on 8A, the verbal presentation for Mission Area CPAB.
Good morning, Commissioners. Morning, Chief.
morning.
My name is Todd Chamberlain. I'm the captain out at Mission Area, and this is my CPAP co-chair, Betty Lay, and she's going to give you a perspective of our CPAP and some of the operations that we have out there.
Great.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
We're really glad we were able to be here today to give you a presentation on what our Mission Area CPAP has been doing. First off, I'd like to welcome you all as the new commissioners. I think that's a great honor, and looking forward to coming back and seeing you all again.
And great responsibility. I just want to,
Yes.
we're reminded of that all the time.
Okay. First off, I'd like to start with our CPAB has a teen CPAB that we have gotten started up to get our teenagers involved, and I attend those meetings as well as whenever any of the other CPAB members are available during the day to also get involved with that. And it seems to be working out very well. There was a slight recess during the summer. As most of you know, the teens like to go off and do other things. But it's all back in order now and up and running, so that's really cool. Also, a couple of years ago, Assistant Chief Paysinger had given all the divisions assignment to put together an emergency preparedness committee. We have not only followed that, we have completed it. We have gone around with each basic car and gotten all the information as to partner with the schools, the medical facilities, the different local businesses, the churches, different things like that. So all that information has been submitted into a database as to where our extra supplies are, who we can count on as far as extra shelter. All of our different basic cars have been quite involved, along with the help of our senior lead officers. So we're very proud that we have completed that assignment and are, as we feel, emergency prepared.
How's your technology out there?
Excuse me?
How's your technology? How do you feel? Do you feel like you've got the latest and the greatest technology from the perspective of what you see in the department or wanting?
I do, as far as different ones of the members not only have a large database, but we rely on Nexel. We rely on eBlasts. We rely on our preventative flyers and stuff that we pass out throughout the neighborhood councils and the neighborhood watches. So I myself am very pleased with the technology that we have.
Good.
Also, something that we did to bring awareness to Mission Division was our CPAP sponsored a mission-wide open house this past May, and we turned it into not only a mission open house, but a health and resource fair, where we had all the different organizations that were available to be involved, to circulate all the information to the different members of the community that got involved. We had a very exciting turnout. I'm ready to do it again. It was just absolutely amazing. The representation that we had from the chief's office, someone had come up. We had someone from PCU that had come up. We had the political figures involved. We had communities and schools with Bobby Arias. A lot of people know him. So we had a lot of good results with that. We're also held our first Mission Area National Night Out. In the past, we have done events per basic car, which were quite successful. This year, we wanted to try a Mission Area-wide division, and let me tell you, it was absolutely amazing. We had over 1,000 people. We had lots of organizations involved. We had Narconon for Say No to Drugs. We had the Truth About Drugs with the Clergy Council. We had community and schools again with Bobby Arias. All the different neighborhood councils, different neighborhood watches were involved. Our political figures were there to speak. It was just an absolute wonderful event, and I love planning that kind of stuff. That's just right up my alley, so it was really great. Do you want to give some input of what you thought about it?
Yeah.
Hey, he's the one with a badge, you know.
He's the one that has, he was real pleased too.
It was really a nice event because it's the first time, and I'm pleased because she says I'm pleased, but it was the first time that really the majority of our neighborhood events were there, each individual areas, Panorama. We have a number of different communities, Panorama, Mission Hills, Silmar, Arleta, and this is the first time where they all came together for National Night Out. And that was one of the really positive things for us because it wasn't just a bunch of isolated individual communities. It was really the community and the perspective of all of Mission Area. So it was a very positive thing.
And by the way, it cost us $0.
With you in charge, I'm not surprised.
I'm a good beggar. I can go around and get you just about anything. I've been doing it for years. I love it.
How about a new station for a replacement station for the Foothill area? Can you work on that one? We need one, right?
I think we're going to keep her in Mission, and Mission Station's running fine right now.
Oh, okay, you're in Mission.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
that's correct.
Okay, let me see. You have a relatively new
Yeah, it's
station.
relatively new. It's
Good.
very nice.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's a good reflection of the community.
Okay, good.
As far as the CPAP and how it relates to the CO, the commanding officer, I think the biggest thing for me is the relationship that we have with our community based on our relations with CPAP. CPAP is what it says. It's an advisory board. And the advisement that they give me, the details they give me on their community is what helps me to deploy my resources and my efforts. When you talk about a partnership, you talk about the strategic plans that we take into place, our strategies to impact crime, the input, the directions, the thought processes that the community gives me, they're all interwoven. A real big example of that, we started a quality of life committee. Mission Area, it's very, very dense. Probably one of the most densest places in the city of Los Angeles as far as apartments. A lot of that, it's very problematic because it's transitory. A lot of people leave items, large bulky items and stuff when they leave the locations. And that, again, causes a big issue as far as the well-being of the community, how it looks, how crime happens. And one of the things that the CPAP jumped into was a quality of life committee. It was like, okay, what can you give back to us? You know, the department can do so much. What can you give back to us? And the CPAP really embraced that idea of quality of life. And they started working with the CD6 and CD7, our council districts out there. They started rallying around this, and they started doing a lot of bulky item pickups, reaching out to their city government. So that's been a big strategy for us that has been very helpful. Another thing I think is CPAP for us is intertwined in all our other organizations. We have a clergy council that's very robust. We have a lot of the denominations from throughout. And the CPAP is there with us, and they're part of that. We have a security council, which involves a lot of our security personnel that work in the different entities, different places where we have problems, Walmarts and different venues. And the CPAP is there with us. They're entwined in that so that we can get a consistent understanding of what's impacting the community and we're working together. She mentioned Nixle, our technology, our communication. And then one big thing that they do, we put together a little flyer that talks about trying to increase our Nixle. Trying to increase our Twitter. At the end of our CPAP meeting, we gave out a stack of 30 to each person that was attending CPAP and said, please take this, put this at a Starbucks, put this at a Vialta Market, put it at an El Michoacan. and let people get information so that we can be transparent. We subsequently increased our Nixle size up to about 1,600 right now, from where it was about a year and a half ago, which was about 3.
Wow.
So that's been a big success, again, based upon CPAP. The last thing I want to hit about our CPAP, which I think is really important, again, is their involvement with us. We are one. We're not separate. We're combined. CPAP is mission area. And where that really comes to play is we have an event that's called Operation Ceasefire. It's put on through John Jay College, through David Kennedy. Mission area is on a 5-year program. And basically what we do is we call in gang members who are active in the area of mission, and the ones that are involved in violence or have the opportunity to dictate how that violence is done to younger gang members. And when we get up there, we talk about what we as a law enforcement organization are going to do if the killing doesn't stop, if the violence doesn't stop. And the one thing that I always start and end it with is that this isn't something that's coming from Todd Chamberlain or is not coming from LAPD. This is something that's mandated by the community. And behind you is the community. And where all these people that are on parole, all these shot callers and gangs are, behind us is CPAP. And we get a huge showing from our CPAP members who have completely bought into the philosophy of Operation Ceasefire and what it means, and they're part of that. There's no exclusion. We are without question intertwined, and they're intertwined amongst mission and our personnel.
Wonderful. You know, I didn't spend any time on the fact that we do have, each commissioner has taken on a bureau to be a liaison for. And our plan is to visit all the stations, the 21 stations. The Valley Bureau, where you are, is Paula Madison. So I'm sure she'll be out, and
look forward to it.
She's going to focus on the Valley, and I'll be out there independently.
Great.
Myself one Monday morning.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes.
Could you just explain what Nixle is? It sounds like an alternate communication source, but
yeah, basically it allows someone to monitor events that are going on in a particular area, and it's not unique just to LA or anything else like that. It goes on anywhere, and the person who signs up to it can pick an area that they want to follow. And basically, if we have a barricade, if we have helicopters, it's the same thing with our Twitter. There's been a number of times where communities saying, wait, why are these helicopters flying over my house for 20 minutes? And we can just shoot something out. We recently had to shut down the 210 freeway based on a homicide investigation. And we're able to Twitter that and Nixle that out so that the community has some understanding and some knowledge about what's going on, and it's real time. It's not going to be, 2 or 3 days later in print, or it's not going to be later that evening in the news, but it's real-time information that allows us to exchange thoughts and ideas with the community.
And is it texting or email?
It's an email-based, but it can also be done via texting or handheld.
The liaison for the South Bureau is Commissioner Saltzman. The liaison for the West Bureau, Commissioner Kim. The liaison for the Central Bureau, Commissioner Figueroa Pia. And I'll be out there cruising around all of them. Well done.
No.
Oh, excuse me.
You're not finished.
So far, well done.
Finished yet.
Keep going. There's no clock on it.
I would like to add, though, if there's a way we can exchange email addresses, I'll make sure that I'm able to keep you up to date.
I'd appreciate it.
Including in front of you have our newsletters.
What's your Twitter handle?
Our Twitter is,
I'll sign up.
It's # mission police. And then you can, for the Nixle one, you go type in the zip codes, and they're all 3 zip codes. Matter of fact, I'll pass this off, and you can get a copy of it.
Okay, we'll follow you.
All right.
Okay, I wanted to continue on with our membership committee as far as recruitment. What our membership chair does is they have put together what we call a meet and greet. And we have all the printed material and flyers as to what CPAB is, what the responsibilities are, what it involves. And Captain Chamberlain is one of the main speakers. I get in there and add my 2 cents, so to speak, as to what's important and why it's important to advise and be involved with the community. And we've had really good response with that. We'll have like refreshments and socialize after that. We do a PowerPoint presentation. So the people that are interested really get good rounded information of everything that we're involved in with CPAB and LAPD. And another thing, we do a lot of preventative flyers through our outreach committee, whether it's for distraction burglary, whether it happens to be for GTAs, for the Lock It, Hide It, Keep It campaign, whether it's LADWP scans that's going on with emails or telephone calls. We also kick off holiday tip preventions. We do the same thing with fireworks. We do the same thing for loud parties. These are different things that we do every month, including special speakers that come out, whether it's about sex predators, whether it's about internet crimes against children. And all this is considered educating our members that are always involved. We also do what's called Adopt a Block, which a lot of us do on a daily basis. But to get the community involved, we have each basic car get some volunteers through their neighborhood councils, their neighborhood watches, maybe their own personal neighborhoods, and we call it an eyes and ears event. Whatever time you can devote to that particular event that day, you're going to either out while you're walking your dog or while you're driving to and from work. Those that don't work can cruise around like I do. And you just take notes as to what can improve the community, whether there's dumping issues, whether there is graffiti issues, or suspicious persons going around, suspicious activity. With that, you're in contact with your senior lead officer by cell phone, and you give them the information. You leave the area, your SLO goes and checks it out, and crimes have been prevented from happening by this event, which has been very good. When we have a lot of people involved with the event, usually we try to ask it to go from like 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. If we have enough people involved, we don't get any non-emergency calls during that time. It's very, very effective. And the other thing to finish off is please take a look at our CPAB newsletter. I get Captain to do a write-up for me on the front page, and every month there is a different security tip in there, whether it's home security, like I mentioned about the LADWP telephone scams. So that information is in there. Next month for CPAB we'll have Halloween safety, so on and so forth. So I thank you very much. And anything in closing?
Again, thank you very much for your time, for allowing us to come here, because for Betty's hard work and effort that she puts into it, there's a number of other people that aren't seen here. And the fact that they get the chance to come up and express what they're doing on a daily basis within Mission Area, and that partnership and that relationship means a lot. And so just again, thank you very much for your time.
You're appreciated, and we're going to come out and see you.
Thank you. In the newsletter is also information about our Officer Appreciation Day, October 9th. Come eat.
Great. Thank you so much.
Ms. Lay, Captain, we would like to just give you a small, tiny token of our appreciation. This is our LAPD.
Appreciate it.
I will come and see you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Can I give you all this?
Yes, if you want to. Are you staying for the rest of the meeting?
No, I am not.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
There's a couple to pass.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we are now at the point of public comment. We have 3 public comment cards. We have Mr. Juarez, followed by Jabril Mohammed and Yvonne Michelle Autry.
Business cards.
Good morning, Police Commissioners.
Good morning.
I gotta tell wake up, Police Commission, because wake up, Police Commission, because I've been waiting for justice for 25 years, and I got 3 complaints to Border Patrol, police, and sheriff. 3 times police brutality on me, but they can't stop me. They want to stop me. They gotta kill me. If they want to kill me, they gotta go to Tijuana, Coahuila, where the lot of young ladies are, and you're gonna find me there. But what kind of justice department is that? 25 years waiting for justice. Why? Too many years. And I hope the chief do me a favor. Stop the cold-blooded killers on the horses chasing the homeless, because their lives are very, very sad. I'm homeless too. Yesterday I was there. You know, the city hall is here, and the homeless are there. Who's gonna help the homeless? That is too sad to me. But anyway, I promise no come back no more to police commission. You know why? Because police commission no good. 25 years waiting for justice. And I'm feel bad because I gotta tell the chief, William Branton, please, Yankee, go home and don't come back no more. And I remember very well the chief answered me. He said, I don't want to stay too long. And last presentation, before he went to New York, I tell the chief, vaya con Dios, chief, you are a champion. Too good luck. So I promise no coming more to this police commission, because no good, no good. So thank you.
Jabril Mohammed.
Good morning, Commissioners, Chief. We just got through talking about earlier on your report, Chief, regarding significant incidents. You stated that every victim of a violent crime's life is impacted. Now, a significant incident in the life of a person who has his teeth kicked out of his mouth is sufficient enough to instigate the statistics in regards to probable cause, meaning how many incidents statistically has the victim of the violent crime have been so victimized, yet there has been no reason for arrest or prosecution, where the probable cause for said arrest and prosecution was not evident in the kicking out of the teeth of the individual, which is a penal code violation of 245 PC, along with penal code violation of 422 PC, along with penal code violation of 205 PC. Here again, in regards to the conduct of the employees employed by the Los Angeles Police Department and the District Attorney's Office, I'm requesting that the Commission use the powers vested in it to serve and be trustworthy to the public that it serves, which we in Bismillah, the Justice Movement, consider ourselves a member of. Move forward to investigate and bring to justice every personage involved in the incident that transpired May 9th of this year, 2013. I'm asking you to look into the report 13-11088. That's look into the report filed by the Newton Division 13-11088. Thanking you in advance.
Yvonne Michelle Autry.
And just speaking on that same issue, I know General Dogon, who's been accused for assault on the police officers when he was actually assaulted. I know quite a few of my own personal friends, General Jeff, who's been assaulted by police. And in this reversal of culpability, you know, there is no justice. When we arm ourselves like my friends, the Black Riders, You know, we're called criminals, terrorists, devils, witches. You know, in this age of increased economic oppression and white supremacy, whether it's right to stand, divine right, manifest destiny, white people think they can do whatever they like to do, especially the wealthy, calling yourself Jews, and, you know, that God gives you the right and you're chosen people. Those are Jews in name only, but are synagogues of Satan. Christ was a black Jew. He never killed anyone. Okay, and in my specific experience, notwithstanding, again, a Caucasian man that opens fire on an unarmed black person, even though that was not in this state, and he is still free today, I've been attacked on numerous occasions by white females and falsely accused of the crime when I defended myself. So, I mean, either falsely accused as the instigator or in mutual combat and self-defense. So I have to let a white female, because she's white and blonde, beat me up, okay, because she thinks I'm a distraction, I'm still attractive, or whatever their standard is for white supremacy these days. You know, I was born in Inglewood, and I see an increasing, you know, evidence of, you know, the police brutality, and there is no justice. So what recourse do we have? My friends arm themselves, and you put them in jail. I go through the judicial process, and I get no satisfaction, and I'm accused in self-defense. I'm accused for the crime. I was just attacked on Labor Day. The police would not arrest a white female who attacked me, called me black bitch, black whore, said I had tramp shoes on, and the police refused to arrest her in a terrorist threat charge when she threatened to kill me. I know I would be arrested. I'd be in jail right now if I had threatened her.
Okay,
so where's the
you.
justice? Where is it?
Okay, we are now on item number 10, closed session items. The Board of Police Commissioners will now recess into closed session to discuss item numbers 10A and B in accordance with various government codes.
Is that what he's?
Did you need one of these? You can give me.
Get up everywhere. Come on. Ain't no one to see it, man. Keep your backpack close enough to the brain. Stop the jump, man. Scared. Move your kids, your fist is fast. Come on, let's go. Man, it's just a little messy, man. Move it. Make sure. Snap, Marcel, come on.
Hands up, drop the cat. We got a suspect running northbound. Vandalism suspect running northbound. Get your hands all right. Get your hands up all right. Get your hands off your hips and spread your feet.
All right, let's put him on the
Good. Get your hands behind your back. Watch your head.
Come on, man.
what it is. My name's Shy, Miss Fly, if you nasty. I'm a superstar, baby, ask about me.
As a business owner, how it affects me is it really puts a knife in the heart of somebody that has worked so hard in a business to create something positive for a community and then have to deal with a tag that'll be there forever unless money is spent to correct it.
If you can look at some of our designs here at the club, this is just one example of what we can do with the art of graffiti. If you take it and you exploit it through the negative sense, where there's tagging crews, disrespect the community and disrespect others and try to take over a neighborhood or something like that, I think that's negative. I think it's rude, and it shouldn't happen.
The impact that graffiti has on a specific community is it instills fear among the residents. In addition, it doesn't look good. It looks horrible in the community, and if we can get the message out to the taggers out in our community and let them know how much of an impact it has on residents, schools, businesses, police officers, it has a tremendous negative impact on the community. So we need to get them to realize that and try to find other means to do graffiti.
Sure, we can paint out your tags, we can paint out the graffiti,